Chapter 30. The beginning of the real battle. He blocked it. Lin Xiu actually blocked it. Although it was a bronze skill, the speed of the sword was not something any ordinary warrior could react to. But who would have thought that Lin Xiu seemed to know Tang Tian's attack and use his spear to stop the attack? The crowd was in uproar. If they didn't know who he was, no one would have believed that he was the real Lin Xiu. The last place actually blocked Tang Tian's move. Phew, lucky he is all right. Ye Xuaner patted her own chest, a sigh of relief. But she watched on with anxiety in her heart. At this moment, Lin Xiu had a frown on his face. Although he had blocked the attack, he still felt the prick on his neck. There was a faint line of blood on his neck. Sword aura. The skill actually contained sword aura. Tang Tian snorted. Although he was surprised by the fact that Lin Xiu had blocked his attack, it did not cause him to falter. He continued to move and thrust with his sword again. Tang Tian moved quickly, preventing Lin Xiu from counter-attacking as he retreated continuously while swinging his spear. Lin Xiu's robes had tears and holes in them with traces of blood on his arm. "You want to compete with me with that speed?" Tang Tian taunted while moving even faster. The sword was imbued with sword strength and unleashed sword auras. Lin Xiu's defensive stance could prevent the physical attacks, but he felt the stabs of pain from the sword aura. Powerful, too powerful, as expected from the top 100. A few students became excited as they watched the spectacular battle. Lo Li frowned. Tang Tian was too strong, and he had even gone through a few actual combat training, while Lin Xiu had only gone to A20 district once, and his strength was lower than Tang Tian's. After all, Lin Xiu was faced against a quasi-warrior who was about to reach the realm of official warriors. "Slow, too slow," Tang Tian commented while increasing his fanatic attacks as swords spewed out like a torrential storm. But at this moment his jaws were clenched tightly as his eyes revealed disbelief. Although Lin Xiu was on the passive, regardless of how he attacked, he had no way of dealing a fatal strike. And as time passed, his attacks were being seen through, and the success of being deflected by Lin Xiu became higher and higher. "This brat still dares to challenge Tang Tian. I see that he's about to die." Li Yuan sat at another location with a sinister look on his face as he commented. Both eyes were spewing venom. Although the arm that Lin Xiu had broken was fixed, he could not forget the humiliation. "No, it won't be easy." Sun Chen, who stood by Li Yuan's side, shook his head and commented. Although Tang Tian's attack looked to be increasingly threatening, he had no way of killing Lin Xiu. At the most, he was only able to inflict small wounds. This was not normal at all. "Go and die!" As his repeated attacks were blocked by Lin Xiu successfully, Tang Tian was infuriated. He roared and summoned a large quantity of sword strength from his body into his sword. Bronze skill, raging flame strike. His sword was immediately enveloped with flames as he slashed towards Lin Xiu. "Let's see how you block this." Tang Tian's eyes revealed a sinister glare. Lin Xiu's pupils constricted. He was exhausted. He had exhausted a lot of strength, but if he attempted to block this strike, he would be devoured by flames. He was originally waiting for a power-up strike which was already at 91 points, but he was still lacking 9 points. But he could not defend against this strike. What should he do? "Oh, of the Phoenix!" In the moment, Lin Xiu clenched his jaw and finally took his first strike. He imbued sword strength from his body into the silver immortal soul and swung his spear upwards. Following a loud and clear swoosh, a gigantic flame that took the form of a blazing bird erupted outwards. "What skill is that?" Loli stood up in shock when he saw the scene. He had never seen such a skill before, and the flames seemed to contain an immense and powerful sword strength. Wait a minute, Lin Xiu actually gained enlightenment on the cultivation technique already? Lin Xiu's eyes were wide open as blood spots seemed to appear on his body. With sword strength in the skill, it had become exponentially stronger. Both flames collided and immediately produced a power gale that turned into a gigantic flaming tornado. Tang Tian and Lin Xiu crossed swords fanatically inside the flames. Sounds of metal colliding came out. Tang Tian's swords desired to pierce Lin Xiu's chest, but Lin Xiu's spear would counter and strike his sword away. The spear suddenly charged at Tang Tian like a dragon. "You really think you can defeat me?" Tang Tian roared as his sword parried Lin Xiu's spear. Clang! Sword and spear colliding once again. Lin Xiu's hand became numb and his grip on the spear unstable. As expected of the top 100 ranker, Tang Tian's strength was simply too great. Tang Tian's sword suddenly thrust forward like a phantom. Caught off guard, Lin Xiu's shoulder was pierced and blood was drawn and it stained his entire sleeve. The flames dissipated as Lin Xiu flew out like a kite. Everyone was in uproar after they saw him. Though Lin Xiu was able to block most of Tang Tian's attacks, he was actually flung away this time. "To actually hurt me, you can die happy." As the flames dissipated, Tang Tian's charred face appeared. His clothes were burned as well and he looked to be in a terrible situation. Humiliated, shamed, he was actually forced to such a position by a trash. "Big brother Lin Xiu!" Yeshuana stood up as her face turned pale. "Xuaner, it's fine. I think your big brother Lin Xiu is getting up again." Her friend seated beside her pulled on her arm and consoled her. Getting up again? Everyone thought that Lin Xiu had fallen, but who would have thought that he was slowly standing up again? But the current Lin Xiu looked to be even worse than before. His shirt had been burned completely, and his face charred on the side. With a rip, Lin Xiu tore the remnants of the clothes on his upper body. "I was just warming up. This is the true beginning of the real battle."